Hyung Trading is a commodity buying and selling organization registered and established in Singapore that became based in 1963 by Lim On Queen. One of the Singapore's biggest impartial oil traders, Hyung filed for financial disaster safety in April 2020. In December 2010, Hyung introduced plans to construct Singapore's fourth oil refinery. Chinese authorities making a bet that oil fee could upward thrust because of an improving call for oil. In the assembly with the lenders, Lim discovered that the organization had written off 800 million in futures buying and selling losses. Lim resigned from Hyung on 17 April, even as mentioning that he wanted his kids to stay as administrator of the company. Lim changed into a charge with forgery on 14 August in a joint statement with intended tracking trends associated with organization and the wider oil buying and selling with the bunkering sector.
Financial scandals involve financial and accounting, marketing manipulation, and a lot of times in fraud. When the founder Lim On Kim revealed to the investor that the company is losses more than 800 million US, and this oil pledge as collateral for lending has been solved. The second one is inventory financing. When Hyung's fraudulent financing was not restricted to bank issued letter of credit. The third one, or the last one, is manipulating the agreement. For one such agreement, in March and April 2019, when the company is used to sell the fuel store at Universal Terminal, the company is agreed to purchase the fuel at the later date and at the lower price. But then it was never be completed by Hyung, and it got investigation by the bank.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nurisa Medon Pasal, meter number 27290. Okay, so now we'll continue with the impact of scandal to auditor. Okay, scandal is defined as an immoral or illegal action or situation that causes public outrage, and someone will be offended by a scandal and their reputation may be affected. Scandal can affect on the auditor reputation because when a firm commit a financial scandal, the auditor reputation will be badly impacted. The auditor reputation is influenced by his or her ability to avoid audit failure. Based on the research, because of the scandal, Hyung Trading sued their auditor, which is Deloitte, in the Singapore High Court over allegation that the audit firm failed to detect serious irregularities in its financial statement for more than a decade. And Lim On Queen, which is a founder of Hyung Trading, stated that Deloitte failed to detect the irregularities and the material misstatement. And Lim On Queen blamed the auditor for business losses incurred due to the negligence of the auditor who were not aware of their responsibilities. Other than that, the auditor also will face a legal action because when a company commits fraud, the auditor is being prosecuted. An auditor may be held liable for both criminal and civil charges if the issues an illegal audit opinion knowingly or recklessly. And under the Companies Act, auditors have been allowed to reduce the risk of lawsuit from clients in 2008. And the auditor also should gather as much evidence as possible to support the statement made in the audit report. And according to the Hyung Trading scandal, Deloitte did not find the losses in Hyung Trading annual report. However, Deloitte is confident in its auditing standard of the financial statement of Hyung Trading because they are pretty sure that their audit was conducted in accordance with the highest auditing standard and in accordance with the information presented at the moment. But in this case, the person who is sued is not the auditor, but the founder of Hyung Trading, Lim On Queen, because of the fraud committed by himself. And last but not least, the auditor also can lose their clients because when prospective client realize that external auditor previously audit company involved in financial scandal, they will assume that the auditor work is poor quality and choose a different auditor. This is because shareholders are becoming concerned about the company auditor connection, as auditors are expected to provide more disclosure in their audit report, including significant audit topic linked to audit report quality. However, this scandal did not give a big impact on the auditor, as the fraud committed by the founder of Hin Leon Trading himself. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
In Helium cases, the Light who audit the company unable to detect serious irregularities in Helium financial statement. According to the suit, the Light gave unqualified opinions that lead to the audit failure because unable to detect misstatement and fraud. Because of this, has caused business failure to Helium company and adverse effects in bank and financial institutions. Even though audit was said properly done by the Deloitte, there will be unavoidable risk where the misstatement was concealed and accompanied with collusion. So, as an auditor, must have professional skepticism where they need to think there may be possible misstatement and need to have critical assessment of the audit evidence. So, in conclusion, the management are in position where they can manipulate the accounting record and fraudulent statement that can lead to the fraud and misstatement. As an auditor, responsible to audit according with the guidelines such as ISA and provide reasonable assurance.
Assalamualaikum and hi. Next, I am Adani Fanisha Munifah binti Satuan, matrix number 281425. We will continue the discussion with auditor's responsibilities regarding fraud. Fraud has caused most recent accounting scandals. To retain profession credibility, auditors must grasp their role in fraud detection and prevention. ISA 240 Auditor's Responsibilities relating to fraud in an audit of financial statement recognize whether the misstatement was intentional or inadvertent is the determining element. As we know, fraud is illegal, and auditors isn't responsible for determining fraud, but a country's judicial system is responsible for it. Auditors must know how fraud and error affect financial statement accuracy. Next, the external auditor must ensure that the financial statements are free from serious misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. Therefore, the external auditor must assess fraud risk. Auditors must be skeptical to do this. The auditor must recognize the risk of a major misstatement owing to fraud, regardless of the client's integrity and honesty. ISA 315, Identifying and Assessing the risk of material misstatement through understanding the entity and its environment goes further than this general concept and require that engagement teams discuss the susceptibility of their client to fraud. During risk assessment, the engagement team should also gather fraud risk information. Auditors must ask how management assess and respond to fraud risk to make such an assessment. The auditor must also ask the management, internal auditors, and governance officials about the actual or suspected fraud. Okay, to sum up, even if an audit is organized and done according to ISA, some significant misstatement must go unnoticed. Fraud is riskier than human mistake. The governing body and management of an organization, not only the auditor, must be responsibility for fraud detection and prevention. The auditor should only be held responsible if audit weaknesses prevented fraud detection. In rare situation, auditors may be held liable if fraud was perpetrated during the time covered by their report, but not detected until the report was signed off. To blame the auditors for everything is irrational. Whether the auditors' failure to catch the fraud was their fault. That's all from me. Thank you.